Up next, we have another powerhouse voice in artificial intelligence, bringing insight, innovation, and real-world impact. This speaker will talk about your business shouldn't need you 24/7. She is the founder of Proverbs 31 Business Systems, an AI system strategist, operations consultant, and host of the Becoming the Proverbs 31 Woman podcast. She is also a specialist in helping faith-driven women entrepreneurs stop being the bottleneck in their business, implementing systems, automation, and AI-powered workflows so their business runs without them. Please welcome Chioma Kehinde. Drop your welcomes in the comments and join me in giving a big AI Power Circle welcome to our next speaker.
For my topic today is your business shouldn't need you 24/7. You shouldn't be in your business 24/7. If you're in it, especially with AI as a tool, we got to talk. So that's what that talk is about today. Before I get started, I know everyone has heard this, but I have to say this is just my own presentation, my own research with everything, not the AI Power Circle Mastermind Innovations, none of that. So it's all mine. All right. So just a little bit about me. I'm AI certified, but I call myself an AI automation specialist. Anything in businesses, I love to automate everything. I'm also an author of a book called Built to Run, was an Amazon bestseller. And then I'm also a host of a podcast called Becoming the Proverbs 31 Woman podcast, where I go as Special Agent Chi. And to be honest, on that podcast, half of the Power Circle members have been my guests on that podcast. I know one of the guests, I think she went today, Kendra. She was actually, you guys should check her episode out. She went earlier this morning and she did such all of them did such a fabulous job, but just check that out as well. And then, like I said, I help business owners, honestly, in a nutshell, I help them stop being the bottleneck in their business, and we try to find ways we can automate things in their business. So right before I get started, I know everybody has been given a freebie at the end, but guess what? I'm going to give a freebie right now, this instant. They say have lunch before dessert, but I'm going to give dessert before lunch. So I'm going to give a freebie right now. So I need you, if you could do for me 3 steps. So I want you, step 1, take a picture while you're in the summit with me. I'm going to, pose and you take a picture. Find me either on Instagram or on Facebook at Special Agent Chi. And then the third step is you're going to follow and post that picture and tag me in it. So there's going to be one winner on Instagram and then another winner on Facebook. You get to win a value that's worth like $9.97. It's like an hour strategy call with me, where we're actually identifying issues in your business is what we're going to be doing. And if it's okay, I was going to drop the link of just my Instagrams in there just so it's quicker for you to find it. So take a quick picture. 1, 2, 3, snap a picture. And then go either on Facebook or on Instagram and tag me, follow me, and tag me on there. And you're going to win a 1-hour session with me. So it's going to be 2 winners, one on Instagram, like I said, and one on Facebook. We're going to have 2 winners who will schedule some time with me so we can identify and just work with you to walk you through exactly what's holding you back in your business. All right? Everybody good? Need one more picture? 2? All right. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm giving that freebie out right now. So we're going to go right on to the next. So today, what you're going to be walking away with is you're going to identify that one bottleneck that is holding you back in your business. And number 2 thing you're going to walk away with is my R.U.N framework of just how to use my R.U.N framework to help you once you've identified that. And then we're going to map out your first system is what we're going to be doing. So that's a promise I'm going to be doing. So get your pen and paper out. I just don't want you listening. Get your pen and paper out. I know we've been taking notes. So I know everyone got a pen and paper or your notes or whatever you use to take your notes. And we're just going to get into it. So before we begin, can I have honest conversations? Do I have honest people here, people who are ready to be honest and just, keeping it real and everything? Do I have that in the chat? Can I put a 1 in the chat if you love honest conversations? Can you put a 1 in the chat? All right, I see a lot of 1s. I knew I was in the right room with the right people. So My question is to you, if you took 2 weeks off, what is the first thing that would break? Let's be honest. What is that first thing that would break? If you took 2 weeks off, it can even be personal. It doesn't even have to be business. If you took 2 weeks off, I remember I had to do training one time for work. And that was about a week. So with my husband, I had to do like documentation of, with the kids, he has to get the water bottle ready, he has to get all of this ready. So what is one thing that would break if you took 2 weeks off? So I said the house would break, the email, sleep will break. You have to explain to me how that would break. Sleep would break, income, house would break. So I see like learning. So I see a lot. I see a lot of that. So if you took 2 weeks off, for me, taking 2 weeks off, and I'll explain later, is the bottleneck is what you're going to be experiencing. So this diagram that's on here, this is what happens when a founder is the bottleneck in that business, where you are in the way, you can grow, you are in the way of the business. I remember there was a client of mine who she had a dance studio and nobody can make a decision without her. For example, can you imagine her employees had to ask her to buy a $2 scrunchie for the dancers in order for them to be able to, like, that went through her, everything went through the founder. Her staff she didn't have enough systems in place for them to buy a $2 scrunchie. I mean, that's when your business depends on you for that, that's an issue. That's a bottleneck issue that you have. So this is how it happens. Kind of like this chaotic picture that I have on here is, you do everything. This is how it happens. The bottleneck forms, growth hurts, you're trapped, you're exhaustion, it's a cycle that just keeps going. This is how burnout happens. This is how you just get so out of control with everything, is when your business is just out of control and it's chaotic. This actually was a personal story of mine. I had a cleaning business that I had closed down a couple of years ago, and the cleaning business would not let me grieve. About 2 years ago, I lost my mom. And so I'm originally from Nigeria, but I live in the States. But for my mom's funeral, I had to go to Nigeria to bury my mom. The week I had to bury my mom, I shut everything down in that cleaning business. Nothing, that cleaning business, I was the scheduler, I was the customer service, I was everything in that business. I think one of our staff had like the many hats. I was wearing those hats in that cleaning business. So that week, I think I canceled all my. I closed down everything. The only thing I left going was my reoccurring clients, because at least those ones my cleaners could go and see those clients. But everything else, so if there was any new leads coming in, any of that stuff coming in, I had no system in place. I just shut it down. So while I was in Nigeria, my the only service usually was my WhatsApp that was working. My staff ended up getting into an accident. So, with I didn't have any real service, good service in Nigeria. So I couldn't call the customer to tell them that my staff got into an accident. So she couldn't come clean. And I think what I ended up doing, because my staff was able to get a hold of me on WhatsApp, what I ended up doing was having the staff now call the customer person, which is not a practice that we usually do. We don't have the staff call the customer. That's what I had to do at that time. So I was thinking that just, was should I say, the breaking point. And I was like, you know what? Why the heck am I thinking about a cleaning business when I should be here just, grieving to bury my mom? That was the point. I was just like, I cannot, like, something got to give. Something has to change with this. And through that, if you want more detail, is how I even created is an inspiration of the book that I wrote was Built to Run, of running a business that runs without you, without burnout, is where I was going through with all this. So it's this, if you see how passionate I am about this, is in helping businesses just to get themselves out of the way, because I personally have experienced this in my cleaning business. So this is the cost, honestly. If we look at it, it comes in three columns. When you are the bottleneck, your time is taken away. Revenue is stalled. You can see that week I was out for the week for the cleaning business. If there was any new lead that came in, I lost revenue. There was no revenue coming in. My calling of just what I had to do, that just shrinks. When you're in confusion and in chaos and being a bottleneck, That's like your calling is just there because I'm a woman of God. So it's like what God designed you to do is then stalled too when you don't have things in place. Our God is a God of order. So sometimes when you don't have things in place, stuff is just not going to run right. So, real quick, we're going to be taking and identifying what bottleneck is in your business. So, it's going to go 0, does not apply, 1, sometimes true, and then 2, absolutely true right now is what we're going to be doing. So, question number 1, let's go to it. You are the only decision maker. So, 0, 1, 2, 3, put your answer of what it is. So, we're going to add it up at the end. Question number 2. Key knowledge lives in your head. Nothing is on paper for that people to do. Only you're the only one that has it. Question number 3. Oh, I'm seeing a lot of 2s. Okay, on that one. Okay. Question number 3. Clients hired you, not the business. So if you are sick or if you are, not having to do anything, it doesn't get done. Question number 4. Revenue stops when you stop. That was the example I experienced that when, I shut everything down. Revenue just stopped during that time. Question number 5. A real vacation feels impossible to do. Oh my goodness, I'm seeing a lot of 2s. I'm guessing that's in terms of they added up. And then question number 6. Your team waits for you. You heard the example I gave of the lady that her staff could not buy a $2 scrunchie for dancers. They had to ask her. It had to go through her to do that. She didn't have any process in place for that. And then the last question. Growth feels terrifying. You want to grow. Usually a business, that's profitable should be growing. Growth is what should be in a business. But if that feels terrifying, that's an issue. All right, let's add up all our numbers. Let's see where we stand. All my 0 to 3s. Do we have any 0 to 3s in the chat? Let me see. Oh, I'm seeing 14s. Okay. I see a 0. Okay, Dr. Rose, I see you. Do I have 4 to 7s? Do I have 4 to 7s? That means the bottlenecks are, starting to develop. How about my 8 to 11s? You're in the high risk zone now. And my 12 to 14s. Critical bottleneck. You're at that level. So I see a lot of that. So there's a fix for that. There's a process, we can go into that and just see how we can fix that. So, this is how I built my R.U.N framework I'm going to go through is first of all, you want to reveal what is that repeatable or that system that depends on me to do everything. Oh, I'm seeing it. Don't be crying, Laura. It's all good. That's why we're going to go through my framework and we're going to go through how we can remove that bottleneck. So we want to remove that repeatable system that you see that that keeps repeating. For example, in my business, a repeatable system that I could have had that could have helped me during that when I traveled to Nigeria was, hey, a voice agent that could have taken leads. So I could have had a process for that. And then the unify is then you're now writing down the steps. So I need to now write down the steps is if the voice agent calls, what is that step? And then the normalize is where is the right tool to use that. So for example, with the voice agent is a tool I could then use for that. So depending on what that repeatable step or that bottleneck that's stopping you, because I was the bottleneck in terms of the phone call. So if I didn't pick up the phone, that was a mislead. So that's how just in terms of for my framework is how you then build the build to run. So I'm going to give just a simple little prompt of just how you can get started in writing your SOPs. SOP, if most people, if you don't know what it is the standard operating system procedure for your company. This, honestly, just take a screenshot of this, and this is how we can get started with building SOPs for our business. So that way, if a staff or just somebody leaves or a new person comes on board, you have these in place. Folks, this is how businesses, like for example, the McDonald's, the franchises, this is how you can sell your business. When you have standard operating procedures in your business, it can run. It doesn't matter who comes in, who comes out. Did you know if in order to sell your business, if you do not have SOPs, your business is not sellable? think that's a word? Sellable? Yes, it's not sellable. If you have this in place, anybody, if you go to McDonald's in China, if you go to McDonald's in everywhere, it's the same process everywhere. This is how the businesses, this is how the franchises have everything, is they have things in place because guess what? It's run the same way every time. So let me see, is there a repeatable task? Let me see in the chat. Is there a repeatable task that you can think of that can help you with this? Honestly, I told you earlier, I had to do an SOP when I went on vacation. I mean, not vacation, when I went on training, and I had to do an SOP for my husband where, hey, make sure the water bottles are in place. This is what you needed for the kids and everything. So you could use this for, it can be personal or for business as well. So think of that repeatable task that you can do. Yes, bedtime SOPs. Yes, what the routine is. I love that. Yeah, what the routine is for the kids. Yeah, you in terms of for the kids, what is that routine that they have? So the difference with this of when you're going from being overwhelmed entrepreneur to a CEO, that's not the bottleneck. When you're going from chaos and everything is just running. I told you I love automations. I love to see where things are just being automated. If I were to go back and should I say run that cleaning business, I know I would run that cleaning business a whole, like it would just be automated. So what does life look on the other side? I use this system. The one thing that this framework helped me was to save time on my intake for my podcast. And it saved me 10 hours. Who can use 10 hours a week is what I reclaimed. 10 hours a week. I could use 10 hours to sleep, spend time with my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. 10 hours. Who can use 10 hours for something else? I saved 10 hours. I didn't feel guilty whenever I was maybe, off with the kids. I know some people mentioned like off with the kids or taking vacation. I didn't feel guilty. And then 24/7, it was just running. So the system that I have is now automated where it's just running. All I have to do is just give the person a link and my podcast intake and all that stuff is running automatically. So now I asked you to, if you took 2 weeks off, what would break? So now imagine with the framework and everything, can you do me a favor? Close your eyes, right? So close your eyes. Do me a favor, close your eyes. And now imagine if you use like the tools, everything was automated. Your customer care is automated. Your lead generation, you're sleeping. You're on vacation. Lead generation is coming. You're nurturing your clients. Expansion doesn't feel like you're about to have a heart attack. Everything is just going in automation. Everything in your business, you're sleeping, you're doing whatever, is just, you could just chill and relax and just things are just going off if you took 2 weeks off. Nothing breaks. That's what the R.U.N framework does, is in identifying those things in your business that are that is making you be the bottleneck. So I have another freebie for you guys. Just like we went through, I'm going to be giving away a free AI bottleneck agent. So guess what? You get an agent. You get an agent. You get an agent. Everybody gets an agent. So if you scan the QR code, you can get my free AI bottleneck agents. So thank you all for your time. Really appreciate you guys being here on a Saturday to, listen to my presentation. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time.